Hello, everyone. This is Lori Hargis, registered aromatherapist and flower essence practitioner. And I'm so happy to have all of you with me here today. First of all, I'd like to announce something that the Lori Hargis International School of Aromatherapy is offering Emotional Healing Month, where we have free classes for you. We'll be having a free class in our Master Essential Oils, and that is going to be on panic and post traumatic stress disorder. And we're also going to have a free class with flower essences on anxiety. And then we have our paid classes with our common sense community, and that's going to be on how to alleviate your allergies. And then we have our emotional healing workshop, which is going to be March 13th, 14th, and 15th. And you'll be able to check out all of these classes that we're giving and workshops on our site at lorihargis.com. And what these classes are going to do is they're going to help you release your stress, your pressures in your life, friction. So we want to make sure that you know that we are offering all these wonderful classes for you to be in. And also we're offering a class in our inner circle group for perimenopause and menopause. And that class is going to be teaching you all about how the liver is associated with your hormonal part of your body, right? And how you can use acupressure and herbs to help yourself. So make sure that you check that out on our site at lorihargis.com. Also, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel here and give me a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it. So now let's go on to our monthly health forecast. And our monthly health forecast this month is on mullein, the flower mullein, because this time of year, we are coming into our spring equinox, where the earth is no longer sleeping, right? And all the trees and all the flowers start to bloom, and the earth awakens. And spring is so beautiful. However, are you one of those people that spring can be troubling for? Because my children's father was a farmer, and he had horrible allergies. And he had them since he was a very small child. And, that includes headaches and sinus and chest congestion, and your throat is sore and irritated from all the coughing that you're doing. And I remember seeing him, just sitting down and not doing anything, and his chest heaving. And he was in the dirt and the dust all the time. And fortunately, we came across an herbal formulation that contained our wonderful mullein, nature's remedy for respiratory health, seasonal allergies, and emotional health. And I'm going to talk to you about the leaves and flowers of mullein so you can improve your respiratory health and well-being in March and have a wonderful rest of the year. So let's take a look at this magnificent plant, mullein, and the leaves of it. So the leaves of mullein are powerful for the respiratory tract, infections and inflammation, such as bronchitis, sore throats, and it also helps with allergy symptoms. Mullein is also a great expectorant when you have a cough. And here is the other herbs that he took with Mullein to alleviate his allergies. And I mean, it really did alleviate his allergies, along with, you know, getting rid of dairy and wheat, because those were two culprits also. But what this formulation did was, with our star herb Mullein, is it gave him support. It allowed him to digest better, because when you have allergies, you're not digesting properly. You're not breaking things down. So in the formulation, it's bone set, fennel, and fenugreek, along with horseradish. And then, of course, we have our wonderful Mullein, our star herb. So the combination of this really helped him overcome his allergies, where he was able to have energy because he would come home at night. He could barely eat because he was just so stuffed up, especially when he was picking cotton, and he was sneezing constantly. And I saw him sometimes sneeze 40 times a day. I'm talking severe allergies. And he had been on every kind of allergy medication before he started using this formulation along with Mullein in it, right? So once he started using this, then his energy just came right back up. And he was doing lots of things, and he even became a massage therapist at that time. So he was working as a farmer and doing massage, which both take a lot of energy. And he was able to do that because he alleviated his allergies with this formulation and a good diet. Remember, diet is the most important, but we use herbs to support ourselves, right? And they are food. So remember that herbs are food. And this was something that I felt, was a big life changer for him and our family. So I want to share with you a formulation that was given to me by the person who developed this combination. And we call it Alleviate Allergy Fudge. And it's something that when my kids got little coughs or colds, and my daughter had some problems with grasses, I would give this to them. And their friends loved it. They would come over and beg me to eat it. And the kids, I could no more get it in the pan, and the kids were trying to eat it with a spoon, right? And it's very easy to make. It's 2 cups of almond butter, or if you're allergic to nuts, you can use sunflower butter or sesame seed butter, just whatever butter that your body loves. And so that's 2 cups of almond butter or other butter, a half a cup of honey, a half a cup of raisins or currants, whichever your family likes. And then what I did is I opened up the capsules of the formulation, which I will give in the link where you guys can order it directly. And I did 12 to 8 capsules of that, just depending on, certain people. The herb, it tastes really good because you have the fennel in it. So it's very sweet. And Mullein doesn't have a big taste, or the other herbs. So it was very good. The kids loved it. And so I did 12 to 8 capsules of that is what I did. And it's bone set, fennel, fenugreek, horseradish, and of course, our star herb Mullein. And I put it, in a small glass, like I think it's glass Pyrex pan is what I did it in. And in an even layer. And then you put it in the refrigerator, you let it sit for 2 hours, and then you just cut it in little squares. And the kids absolutely loved it. And like I said, sometimes they'd eat it all up before I would even, get it in the refrigerator, especially if, they had friends over. And that's what's interesting is, children naturally aren't junk food junkies. Children naturally go to good food. And that was proven with my kids when they were in school, when their friends were asking them for their lunch and their green leafy vegetables, their, Alleviate your allergy fudge, and trying to trade my kids candy. And fortunately, my kids, they had very strong, they believed in what we were doing in natural health and that it was helping them. And they all three still are doing all this as they're adults, and we know as when your kids are adults, we don't have control over them. So they've all kept this up. And then my daughter used this formulation in liquid form on her son forever. And we even teased that he smelt like it, because he just loved it and begged her for it. It's because when he was born, he had a lot of mucus. And so it took some time through, 2 or 3 years after he was born to get that out of his system. And now he's a healthy, hockey player in Canada. So I really think that you guys would love to join me on March 3rd at 1 p.m. Eastern time, because that's when we're going to be talking about how to use essential oils and flower essences. I've told you now about how you can use the herb, but how can we use essential oils and flower essences, this beautiful marriage of these two healing modalities, to help you alleviate your allergies? That will be on March 3rd at 1 p.m. Can't wait to see you there. So now let's look at also how mullein is used as a macerated oil. It has been used where you take the flowers and you put them in olive oil and you let it sit for 2 weeks and you turn it each day, right? Then you filter off the flowers. And this is really good for earaches. And a lot of people, when they have allergies, their ears itch, don't they? And then their ears will itch. Their throat itches, their ear itches. And so what you can do is you can take a little bit of this macerated oil and you can pour it into the ear. And then, lay on one side, pour it in the ear, and then put a cotton ball in there. And it works really great that way. It also helps move the lymphatic system, because we know in here, so you can massage it all here in the mastoid, underneath the ear, to help move the lymphatic system. So that's what the macerated oil is great for. It's great for earaches and it's great for lymphatic drainage, or when your ears are itching, right? And we use that a lot too. So I'll put a link below for that also. And then we have the flower essence. And this flower essence here of mullein has been very dear and near to me. Through my own experiences, I have used mullein a lot. And what it helps you do is it helps you have this strong sense of inner consciousness and truthfulness. I've always been very truthful, and sometimes my kid's dad would say to me, Lori, you hit people like an arrow. They say, how does that gal know that? And she's telling the truth here. Well, it's been kind of always my MO. However, when I took mullein, it helped me to be more truthful with myself. And a lot of times we're in denial of how we are and how we have deceived ourselves and how we've lied to ourselves about relationships or situations or events that have happened in our life. And as you see, mullein stands straight up, doesn't it? And that's what it does. It helps you stand straight up. And it helps you be truthful and honest and not deceitful and not to be telling yourself lies or others. So it's like a truth serum within yourself, and it lights you up all the way up your spine. And I had a situation in New Jersey, and this was like in 2010. And I had developed an organic line of chocolate coffee products. So I was going to New York and with my friend Diane, and we were going to present this on in New York, this line of products. And so we went to a store, and we were at the store collecting the things because we were also having a party, and we needed to get some things to share the products with everybody. And then plus we were going to New York to present. So we needed items. So we go to the store. And so Diane had the big cart, and she's pushing it. And she says, "Hey, Lori, go ahead and get in the line." I said, "Okay." And she's, "I'll just be right behind you." So I go ahead and get in the line. And then Diane comes up beside me. And then a man comes up behind us. And I had seen him coming, but of course I'm going to make it to the cashier before he is, because he's got a big cart too, just like Diane. So I'm in line. And all of a sudden, Diane's on the side of me with a cart, and I'm standing like this. And all of a sudden, this guy hits me with his cart. And I just turn around immediately and I say, "You did that on purpose, didn't you?" And he looks at me and he goes, "Yes." And I said, "Do you think that I crowded in front of you?" "Yes." And I said, "I didn't crowd in front of you. You were way down there." And I said, "Don't you ever hit me again like that. Don't you ever." And all of a sudden, though, when I stood straight up, because I had been using Mullein, I just stood straight up like the candlestick, just like how Mullein is. So we can see, I hadn't been using Mullein for a while, for a few months. And I just popped right up, and I said it was my Mullein moment. So when people confront you with things, or they're trying to bully you, and it's not right, you will stand up for yourself, just like the Mullein flower. And I'll put a link below for that too, so that way you can just get that directly from the company and start using Mullein flower essence. I hope that you will use this beautiful plant and treasure it as much as I do. And we can't wait to share with you more about essential oils, flower essences, acupoints, and herbs in all of our upcoming classes in March. And join us on March 3rd at 1 p.m. for our Alleviate Your Allergies with flower essences and essential oils. Enjoy the fudge and spring, and I can't wait to see you there. Don't forget your essentials. Use your common sense. Au revoir.